Okay, I guess we're good to get started. So while we wait for other folks to join the call, thank you everyone for joining today to the first of our tech sessions. Today we're going to be discussing the process of building a collaborative whiteboard using PencilKit and Twilio Data Track. Today's presentation will be carried out by Leti, who is also here on the call with me. And yeah, I guess we can just wait a couple of more minutes for other folks to join us, and then we can get started. In the meantime, just as a heads up, if anyone has any questions, feel free to type them into the Q&A box, and we'll take care of those at the end of the presentation. Okay, I guess we're good to get going, as we've had a few folks joining us as well. So cool, I guess that as an introduction, and for those of you who are not entirely familiar with who we are and what we do, here at CodigoDelSur we specialize in all things product development. So our area of expertise is both mobile and web development. You have an idea, you come to us, we build it for you. So it's as simple as that. And the idea of our next tech sessions, the ones that we're starting today with this one in particular, is to, bring some knowledge to people out there, both technical people and those who are also perhaps thinking of starting, a startup, or those who have an idea for a product and don't know where to start. We're here to help. So that's the idea today. This time, we're going to tackle a very specific and technical topic, specifically for iOS. So I'm just going to let Leti start with today's presentation.
Thanks for training this webinar today. So before getting started, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Leticia. I am a software engineer and I work as an iOS developer here at CodigoDelSur. We are really excited to be presenting this session today, in which we are going to talk about how to build a collaborative whiteboard using PencilKit and Twilio Data Track. One clarification here, we are not going to write any code in this session. Instead, we are going to present or show some code snippets to showcase some how things are done. We are going to share at the end of this session a sample project we have built in GitHub, so you can take a look at the full code there. Also, I would like to mention that we will be answering any questions that may arise, but in case we can answer any of them, we will get back to you by email afterwards. So first I would like to start with a quick introduction of this topic. To give a little bit of context, a couple of months ago, we had to build a whiteboard, and we were really surprised when we found out how easy its implementation was using PencilKit and Twilio Data Track. So the idea is to show how can you implement a whiteboard, and so users can access from multiple devices and display the drawings. Once the user draw on the canvas, display that drawing in the other devices. Yeah, and yeah, one thing I would like to mention, as well, is that what prompted this talk is the fact that PencilKit brings a lot of value to any iOS application. Without much effort, you can add a powerful toolkit to your iOS app. And so you can leverage of all the PencilKit functionalities by writing a few lines of code. Yeah, quoting Apple, you can add expressive and low latency drawings using PencilKit in a really easy way. So I will give a brief explanation on the tools we are going to use, which are Apple PencilKit, which is a framework provided by Apple, and also Twilio Data Track, which is the library we use to share the drawings, and is provided by Twilio. So PencilKit is this framework that provides, I will quote Apple here. It provides a drawing environment for an iOS app that receives input from Apple Pencil or the user's finger and turns it into images you display in iPadOS, iOS, or macOS. In order to start using PencilKit, there are some components you need to be familiar with. This is PK Canvas, PK Drawing, and PK2 Picker. And as their names say, they represent the canvas in which the user will be drawing on, the drawing itself, and the set of tools the user can choose from, such as the colors, the different pens, the eraser, the rule, and so on. One thing here is that we are not going to focus on these components. We are only explaining how to build the whiteboard. So in case you want to learn more about these components, you can refer to the Apple official documentation. So for Twilio Data Track, this is the library we use to send the drawings to share the drawings in real time. The basic idea is that the local participant is going to create a drawing, and once we get that drawing, we are going to share it via data tracks, so the other remote participants can get those drawings and see it on their devices. One thing here is that Twilio offers two types of libraries to share data in real time. These are Twilio Sync and Twilio Data Track, which is the one we are going to use. But the main difference between these two libraries is persistence. Data tracks only exist during the video meeting, as they share data among participants is not stored. While Twilio Sync is documents can be stored under an account. You can get an identifier and you can retrieve that data for later use. Well, as we already mentioned, for this use case, we are going to use Twilio Data Track because we don't need the drawings to be stored and retrieve it later. Again, for Twilio, if you want to read more about Twilio Sync or Twilio Data Track, you can refer to the Twilio official documentation as well. So now we are in position to start talking about the implementation. So, one second. So roughly speaking, the steps to implement the whiteboard are the following. the first step is to set up Twilio data tracks and connect to a Twilio room. The second step is to set up a PencilKit. Then the third step would be to draw and send the drawings over data tracks. And then the last step is configure Twilio data tracks delegate methods to receive the drawings and setting it on the canvas. So before getting started with the implementation, we need to add the dependency, which is Twilio Data Track. Twilio Data Tracks library is a subcomponent of the Twilio Video library. So you need to add Twilio Video, Twilio Video in the pod file as a pod, install it, and you will have it in your local machine after that. So yeah, now we are in the first step, which is to set up Twilio data tracks and connect to a Twilio room. So in order to do this, we have this whiteboard view controller here, which is the one that represents the whiteboard itself. So you need to first you need to import Twilio Video to Twilio Video library to make use of the room delegate protocol and the room object here and all the other components we are going to use when connecting to a room. And then, well, you need to implement this room delegate protocol here. Also declare this room variable here. And after that, we will define this function here. I call it connect to a room, in which we are going to create the local data track. We are sharing the drawings over this local data track here. We do it by calling its constructor and passing these data track options we just created here. 1 second. So yes, these are the data track options. In order to create this local data track, we pass these data track options we just created here. Then we prepare the connect options, as you can see, passing the access token. This access token, what it does is to allow access to a participant only to the room he's supposed to join. So the idea, ideally, you will want to fetch this access token from a backend server, and the backend server will be the one that will have to connect to the Twilio server in order to get the access token and send it to the front end. But in this case, I have, for the sake of the example, I have hard-coded this value here. And yeah, once we have these connect options, we are going to set the local data track we just created here. And after that, we can connect to a room, passing these connect options and self, which is the whiteboard view controller that is implementing this room delegate protocol here using the Twilio Video SDK. And that's it. After that, you need to call this function from your udit-load method, and that's it. Here, your user will can connect to a room now. And yes, this leaves us in the second step, which is to set up a PencilKit. I have divided this step into parts. This is the first one. So first, what we need to do is to add the UI view to our whiteboard view controller, as you can see here. Then we need to customize this UI view to be of type PK canvas. This gives the UI view. We just added all the capabilities to create drawings and so on. And yeah, after that, we control drag the view here to our whiteboard view controller, so we can have a reference to the canvas view. And the fourth step is to implement this PK Canvas View Delegate and the PK Tool Picker Observer. And yes, I will explain later why we need this. And yeah, with this, you already have your canvas on your view controller. One clarification here, you can do this programmatically. I have decided doing it here using the storyboard, but yes, you can do this, create the canvas view in your view controller programmatically. So the second part of this PencilKit setup is to create, define a function to set up PencilKit and create your tool picker. This is like a no-brainer. It's only you need to create the tool picker, set the tool picker visible for a first responder, which in this case is going to be our canvas view. That is our outlet. Then you will have to add these two observers to the tool picker. That this is the canvas view and self, and that's why we implemented the PK tool picker observer protocol before in order to do this. Then we set the delay of the canvas view, which is going to be self, and that's why we implemented the PK canvas delay. After that, we set the drawing policy, which is in this case is going to be any input. This means that the canvas will receive input from both the Apple Pencil and also the user's finger, and then we make our canvas view to be the first responder of the view. We will need to call this function from the view did appear method. If you do it from the view will appear or the view did load, this won't work. And this is because the tool picker, in order to be presented, needs the view of the whiteboard view controller needs to be already added to the view hierarchy. So the tool picker can be shown. And so at this point, if you run the app, you will see that you will have this screen here. As you can see, we already have the picker, the tool picker here, and you are able to generate drawings as a user, and that's it. So now we have a drawing application. So now the third step would be to draw and send the drawing through the data tracks. We are already drawing, so the only thing we need now is to capture those drawings and send it over data tracks. So how we do that is we need to override this method called canvas view drawing did change. This method belongs to the PK canvas view delegate here. So we override this method, and the way we capture the drawing is by doing canvas view that drawing. In this case, I have converted this drawing, which is of type PK drawing, to be a base 64 encoded string, so I can send it over the data track. So now that we have captured that drawing, we are going to send it over local data track by executing this line of code here, by doing local data track that send and passing the base 64 drawing string we just generated. And that's pretty much it. Now we are sending those drawings over the data tracks. So now we are in the last step, which is to configure the Twilio Data Track's delegate methods to receive the drawings and setting it on Canvas. I have also divided this step into parts. This is the first part. So what we need to do here is to start listening for remote data track events. So the way we do that is by implementing yes, this protocol here called remote participant delegate. So we can override this this method here called did subscribe to data track. The only thing we need to do here is to set the delegate of the incoming data track. And this delegate is going to be self, which is the whiteboard view controller we have here that is implementing this delegate here. So with this, we can start receiving the remote participants messages that in our case are going to be the drawings. And the second part of this last step is to receive the messages. Now we are listening and we are getting the events, but we need to capture the incoming drawings and setting those on our canvas. So the way we do that is by implementing this other delegate protocol here called remote data track delegate. This protocol has provide us with this method here called remote data track did receive string. So as you can see here, we have this message string, which is, this is going to be the drawing. So we need to set this message, which is our drawing, on our canvas. And so because this is a string, we need to convert it to a PK drawing. So our canvas view can understand what we are setting. So yeah, we do that by generating this data from this message, which is a string, and then we convert that, generate this PK drawing from the data we previously created. And then we set this drawing on our canvas, and that's it. And with this, we have, this is the full implementation. This is the only thing you need to do. But if you run the app, you will see that this won't work. And this is because if you attempt to run the app, you will be able to run the app, but as soon as the user starts drawing, we will get like a circular reference problem. The app will get stuck in a loop. So the reason for this is because we are also sending the incoming drawings over the data tracks, and we only need to send the drawing if it was drawn by the local participant. So I will show you. So yeah, for this reason, we have like created this need to store on database flag that can be translated to needs to store or needs to send the drawing over data track. So the idea is that when we get the incoming drawing, we show you here, we set, we make an update on the canvas view. And once this line of code is executed, this canvas view drawing the change will be triggered as well. So as you remember, we are sending here, we are sending our drawing over local data track. So what what we need to do is to say, when we get that incoming drawing, we need to change this flag we just we created to be false. So once this line of code is executed, this conditional this if condition here will be we will ask if, hey, we need to store this on the database. If yes, well, this means that this is a drawing that the local participant has drawn. So if not, we don't do anything. We are only set the drawing to the canvas view, and that's it. The way we change this flag to true is by writing this canvas viewed and using tool, and this means that the user has finished drawing. And yeah, that's it. And with this, if you run the app, you will get this final result. Imagine this whiteboard, multiple users drawing at the same time. In this case, are only 2 participants, but you could have multiple all over the world. And yes, as a wrap up, a comment about access token. You will need to generate an access token in order to run the sample project we are going to share with you. In order to do that, you will need to create an account in Twilio, and then access the Twilio console in order to generate the access token there. We, in the GitHub repo in which the sample project is, we have left step-to-step guide, and in which you can find how to do this. Yeah, as yeah, we are also going to share these links with you if you want to. The Apple official documentation on PencilKit, the Twilio official documentation on Data Track API, also the link to the Twilio console to generate the access tokens and the sample project. Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you, Leti, so much for walking us through this presentation. So we'll be moving forward now with a Q&A session. So if anyone has any questions, please feel free to enter them in the Q&A box. We already have a couple of them here. The first one is, do you know any other libraries for sharing data in real time? Yes, you could use a Firebase real-time database to achieve the same, to share data in real time. Okay, and the second one that we have this far is, what if I want to share the drawings with an Android app or the web? Yes, you will need to share the coordinates that conform. You will need first to get the coordinates from the PK drawing, and then share it to each platform, so each platform can create their own drawings using their own writing tools. Perfect. Okay. If anyone has any questions, we will leave the box open for a couple of more minutes for you guys to feel free to ask anything that comes to mind about the topics that we have just discussed. If not, or well, if no questions come up at this time, we will be sending over a follow-up email to everyone who attended today with a recording of the session so that you guys can rewatch it. And if any questions do come up, then you can just reply to the email or, hit us up on social media, wherever you prefer or whatever works for you. And we'll be happy to get back to you with the answers then. Okay, let's just wait a little bit more to see if any other questions come up. Well, okay. Looks like those were the only 2 questions that we had this time. I guess we're good to go then. And to wrap things up, thank you everyone who attended. And as I just said, we'll be sending over the recording of the session. And if you have any questions, oh, it looks like someone raised a hand. Well, I'm new to this, so let me see how to get to that. Oh, no, it looks like they didn't raise it or decided to not raise it again. Okay, so if I missed that, please just type the question in the QA box. That's my bad. I'm not entirely familiar with this version of Zoom. But anyway, as I was saying, if you don't have any questions right now, but do have any others that come up after you watch the recording or, in the future, just, reach out to us and we'll be happy to help with anything that comes up. Again, thank you everyone so much for joining us today, and we'll see you in our next session in around 2 weeks' time. So yeah, thank you and bye-bye. Have a great day.
Bye.